y'all, it's Dan Book Nook Noggin here with another book review, and this time I'm here to review Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones. Now this is the second book by this author I have read, and this was a major improvement upon my last review, which was What Big Teeth. Now, in What Big Teeth, I was kind of looking for and expecting a horror book about werewolves, and this book has all that stuff that I wanted. Like I said, this is my second time reading Stephen Graham Jones. I know that this book came out a few years ago. I'm not 100% sure what year it came out, but I do remember. But yeah, this is a coming-of-age novel about a werewolf family. There's this nephew and uncle and aunt Darren and Libby and grandpa. And they're kind of a nomadic kind of family. They're always kind of on the run, or I get the impression that they feel the need to be on the run because they feel like living their day-to-day lives, and sometimes like things may go a certain way that they feel the need to flee and move around from like state to state. So they kind of move around along the southern United States, going to different places. I really enjoyed this. Like, when I first started reading this, I was kind of like, yeah, this is kind of a 3-star book. But then the further I got into it, it kind of ramped up my stars. And by the time I finished this book, I gave it a 5 out of 5-star rating. This book was really super impressive for me. Now, I gotta be flat out honest with you guys. If you're looking for that traditional kind of book, this does not run linear. It is not a linear story. It is very much told through vignettes, like each chapter seems to be a short story or a little glimpse into this family's history and the lore of werewolves in total. Like I mentioned, the nephew, we never know what his name is. There's different times he's referred to in different ways. It's kind of weird. Like, in one chapter, he was referred to as the interviewer and the biologist and all this other stuff. So he never really has... We don't know what his name is, and that's quite alright with me, because the whole focus, even though it's a coming of age, is more on his feelings, his development, and more or less this werewolf family and werewolf lore in general. The story's not really 100% on him, but yet it is at the same time. So, yeah. There were some scenes that were kind of funny and kind of, like dark humor, I guess you could say, that I really appreciated. Like, there was this one scene where they were talking about this lady, and they called her the #1 fan or something like that, and there was one scene where they mentioned the title of the book, and it was called Who Pooped in the Park. I thought that was hilarious because just what was going on at the time of the book. Now, one of the things that makes this kind of a coming of age is that not necessarily everyone born into a werewolf family becomes a werewolf. Some people are just human, and that's quite alright. They still have the blood, as the author likes to say in this book numerous times. So we're not really sure, as the story progresses, whether or not the nephew is a werewolf himself or if he's just a regular human. I found that to be kind of interesting. I love the way that some of the background stories of the timeline were told. It kind of reminded me of Smoke Signals, that movie that was based on the Lone Ranger and Tonto fistfight in heaven by Sherman Alexie. If you've never read that or seen that film, Smoke Signals, go check that out. But it kind of has a very Native American kind of feel to the way the stories are told. And Native Americans are great at telling stories. And that was one of the things that made me love this book so much more, was the way some of the stories were told. The storytelling is fabulous. I love the way that the author kind of fills in the gaps about the lore, and sometimes we'll say, well, this is stuff that the movies say about werewolves, but this is what werewolves are really like. I cannot say this enough. This was a great werewolf book. I have not read too many werewolf books, but I'm going to say that this is going to be in my guide to the best werewolf books of all time. I'm definitely going to throw down this book as being one of those. Like I said, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. I absolutely loved it. I'm definitely going to read more Stephen Graham Jones books. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can add to this conversation about wolves or about werewolves. I really love this book, and I think if you are craving that werewolf horror fiction book, I think this is the one for you. Of course, as always, for those of you in the US, I will have a link to Amazon down below. I'm going to try to find this on bookshop.org, which I don't see why it wouldn't be there for you international folks. And I'm going to throw down my Ko-fi link. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers, but I feel so far away from that total at the same time. If you could buy me a coffee or two, it would be great. I could use the energy and the motivation. Thank you for watching, and if you came here looking for book reviews and book recommendations, please hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, hit that notification bell. This has been Dan. Stay healthy and be good to each other.